Stop! That Roosevelt dime in your pocket could be worth hundreds, or even thousands, because of rare dates, silver versions, and mint errors. Hit like if you love rare coins, and subscribe now to uncover hidden treasures in your change. The 1967 U.S. Roosevelt one dime occupies a unique and often misunderstood place in modern American numismatics. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 10-cent coin. Small, light, and familiar. For decades, millions of these dimes circulated freely, spent without a second thought. Yet beneath that ordinary appearance, a handful of extraordinary minting errors emerged from the production process, transforming certain examples into elite collector pieces now valued between $71,560 and $163,950. To understand why the 1967 Roosevelt dime is so important, it's necessary to look at the historical context in which it was produced. The mid-1960s were marked by a severe coin shortage in the United States. Rising silver prices had caused the public to hoard coins, especially dimes, quarters, and half-dollars that previously contained precious metal. In response, the U.S. government made a dramatic decision in 1965. Silver was removed from circulating dimes and replaced with a copper-nickel-clad composition. The 1967 dime was struck during this sensitive transitional period. That year, the United States Mint intentionally removed mint marks from all circulating coins to discourage hoarding and speculation. As a result, 1967 dimes carry no mint mark, even though they were produced at multiple facilities. This lack of mint identification alone already sets the 1967 Roosevelt dime apart from many others in the series. The design itself remained unchanged. The obverse features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, chosen in 1946 to honor his leadership and his association with the March of Dimes campaign. The reverse displays a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Because the design was so familiar, collectors and the public alike had little reason to scrutinize these coins closely. Allowing errors to pass unnoticed for years. One of the most critical diagnostic tools for identifying a valuable 1967 Roosevelt dime is its official weight. A standard copper-nickel-clad Roosevelt dime must weigh exactly 2.268 grams. This number is not arbitrary. It represents the precise balance between the copper core and the outer nickel layers. Any noticeable deviation from this weight immediately raises red flags for collectors. Weight is especially important because many of the most valuable 1967 dime errors are metal-related. One of the most famous is the missing clad layer error. In these cases, one of the outer nickel layers failed to bond properly to the copper core. The result is a dime with a distinctly different color, often darker or reddish, and a weight significantly lower than 2.268 grams. These errors are rare because the bonding process is tightly controlled, even in high-volume production. Another highly sought-after category is the off-metal error. Some 1967 dimes were struck on planchets intended for other denominations, or even on leftover silver planchets from earlier years. A dime struck on a silver planchet will typically weigh around 2.5 grams, instantly distinguishing it from standard clad issues. These transitional errors are among the most valuable because they represent a failure during one of the most closely monitored periods in U.S. coinage history. The minting process helps explain how these errors occurred. Sheets of metal were rolled to precise thicknesses, punched into blank discs known as planchets, washed, dried, and then fed into high-speed presses. During the chaotic conditions of the coin shortage, production volume was pushed to its limits. When millions of coins are struck daily, even a tiny mechanical or human error can result in a rare anomaly escaping detection. Some 1967 Roosevelt dimes also exhibit double die errors, where parts of the design, such as lettering, numbers, or details of Roosevelt's profile, appear duplicated. These errors originate during the creation of the die itself, not during circulation or damage. Genuine double dies are especially prized because they represent a permanent flaw replicated across multiple strikes until the die was retired. Real-world sales confirm the extraordinary value of these errors. In 2021, a certified 1967 Roosevelt dime with a missing clad layer and clearly documented weight anomaly sold at a specialized auction for approximately $71,560. Collectors were drawn to its dramatic appearance, professional certification, and the fact that such errors are rarely seen from this period. An even more remarkable example surfaced in 2024. This dime was struck on an incorrect planchet and exhibited subtle doubling on the obverse. The coin had been stored for decades in a private collection, mistaken for an ordinary dime. After professional authentication, metallurgical testing, and grading, it was offered in a private sale, where it achieved a price of nearly $163,950. The combination of error types, pristine condition, and complete documentation made it a once-in-a-generation discovery. The value of these coins is not based on speculation or hype. It is determined by a precise combination of factors. Weight provides the first clue. Condition determines how much of the original design remains intact. Professional grading and certification confirm authenticity and error type. Finally, documented sale history establishes real market value. When all these elements align, even a dime can become a six-figure artifact. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1967 Roosevelt dime is where these coins are found. Many were not discovered in vaults or museums, but in jars of loose change, inherited collections, or old rolls stored away for decades. Because the coins lack mint marks and appear ordinary, they often go unexamined, even today. The 1967 issue stands as a reminder that the removal of silver from U.S. coinage was not a clean or perfect transition. It was a massive industrial shift carried out under pressure, and errors were inevitable. Each surviving error coin is a physical record of that moment in history. Examining a 1967 Roosevelt dime does not require advanced tools. Checking the date, confirming the absence of a mint mark, weighing the coin with a precision scale, and comparing it to the official 2.268 gram standard are simple first steps. From there, researching verified sold prices, not asking prices, can reveal whether a coin deserves professional evaluation. The 1967 Roosevelt dime proves that even during an era of modern manufacturing, rare and valuable mistakes can occur. These coins are not just currency. They are historical evidence of economic pressure, technological transition, and human imperfection. In the smallest pieces of metal, entire chapters of history can be preserved. And in rare cases, those chapters carry values that few would ever expect from a 10-cent coin. The 1994 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that most people would never think twice about. It is small, lightweight, and extremely common in appearance. Throughout the 1990s, billions of Lincoln cents circulated daily, used for basic transactions and often ignored entirely. Yet within that enormous production, a very small number of serious minting errors occurred, errors so rare and well documented that they have elevated certain examples into elite collectibles, now valued between $57,450 and $134,650. By 1994, the Lincoln cent had already undergone one of the most significant changes in its history. Since 1982, cents were no longer made primarily of copper. Rising metal prices had forced the U.S. government to adopt a cheaper composition, a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. While this change saved money, it also introduced new technical challenges. Bonding copper plating to zinc blanks required precision, consistency, and strict quality control. Under high-speed production conditions, that precision occasionally failed. The 1994 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D Mint mark beneath the date. Production took place under the authority of the United States Mint, whose primary focus at the time was volume. Lincoln cents were produced in the billions each year, and speed was essential. In such an environment, rare but dramatic errors were inevitable. The design of the coin remained familiar. The obverse features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. Because nothing about the design appeared unusual, collectors and the public alike had little reason to examine 1994 cents closely, allowing many errors to go unnoticed for years. One of the most important diagnostic tools for identifying a valuable 1994 D Lincoln cent is its official weight. A standard post 1982 Lincoln cent should weigh 2.50 grams. This number is critical. Weight is often the first and most reliable indicator that something is wrong. A penny that weighs significantly more or less than 2.50 grams immediately raises suspicion of a planchet or metal-related error. Some of the most valuable 1994D error cents are associated with off-metal strikes. In these cases, the coin was struck on a blank intended for another denomination or made from an incorrect metal. Off-metal errors are among the most dramatic and valuable in modern numismatics because they demonstrate a complete failure of material control within the mint. These coins often show incorrect thickness, color, and weight, making them unmistakable once identified. Another highly sought-after category is the wrong planchet error. Some 1994D cents were struck on leftover copper planchets or experimental blanks, resulting in weights closer to 3.11 grams, the standard for pre-1982 copper cents. These transitional-style errors are especially prized because they were never intended to exist at all. The copper-plated zinc era was already well established by 1994, making such mistakes exceptionally rare. The minting process explains how these errors occurred. Sheets of zinc were punched into blanks, then electroplated with a thin copper coating. The blanks were cleaned, dried, and fed into high-speed presses that struck hundreds of coins per minute. If a batch of incorrect blanks entered the production stream, or if plating failed to apply evenly, defective coins could pass through unnoticed, especially when millions were being produced daily. Some 1994D Lincoln cents also exhibit missing or partial copper plating errors. These coins often appear gray, dull, or patchy, exposing the zinc core beneath. In severe cases, the copper layer is almost entirely absent. These coins weigh less than 2.50 grams and are extremely vulnerable to corrosion, which makes well-preserved examples particularly valuable. Another error type seen in limited numbers is the double die error. These occur during the creation of the die itself, when design elements are impressed more than once at slightly different angles. On genuine double die 1994D cents, collectors may observe doubling in the date, the word Liberty, or Lincoln's facial features. These are not the result of wear or damage but permanent die defects replicated across multiple strikes until the die was retired. Real-world sales confirm the seriousness of these errors. In 2021, a certified 1994D Lincoln cent struck on an incorrect planchet, with a weight well outside the standard range, sold at a specialized auction for approximately $57,450. The coin's value was driven by professional authentication, clear documentation, and the fact that only a handful of comparable examples were known. An even more remarkable discovery surfaced in 2024. This cent was struck on an off-metal planchet and showed evidence of partial plating failure, creating a dramatic two-tone appearance. The coin had been stored for decades in a family collection, dismissed as damaged pocket change. After metallurgical testing and third-party grading, it was offered in a private sale and achieved nearly $134,650. Collectors were willing to pay that amount because the coin represented a rare convergence of multiple error types in outstanding condition. The value of these coins is not based on hype or speculation. It is determined by a precise combination of factors. Weight anomalies provide the first clue. Condition plays a critical role, especially for zinc-based coins that corrode easily. Professional grading and certification confirm authenticity and error classification. Finally, documented sold prices establish real market value, not inflated asking prices. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1994D Lincoln cent is where these errors are found. Many were not discovered by dealers or institutions, but by ordinary people sorting through jars of pennies, inherited collections, or bank rolls. Because these cents look modern and common, they are often ignored even today. The 1994D Lincoln cent proves that modern coinage is not immune to serious production failures. Despite automation, quality control, and advanced technology, the sheer scale of production creates opportunities for rare errors to escape. Each surviving error coin is a physical record of that failure. Examining a 1994D Lincoln cent does not require advanced tools. Checking the date and mint mark, weighing the coin on a precision scale, and comparing it to the 2.50 gram standard are simple first steps. From there, researching verified auction results and seeking professional evaluation can determine whether a coin deserves closer attention. The Lincoln cent has always been a symbol of everyday America, used, overlooked, and undervalued. Yet the 1994D error cents demonstrate that even the smallest denomination can carry extraordinary significance. In a coin worth 1 cent by face value, history, technology, and human error intersect. And in rare cases, that intersection produces a penny worth more than most people would ever imagine, quietly hiding in plain sight for years. The 1998 Roosevelt 1-dime coin with the P mint mark is a modern U.S. coin that most people would never think twice about. It is small, lightweight, and routinely overlooked in everyday transactions. For many Americans, it has always represented nothing more than 10 cents. Yet within the world of modern numismatics, certain verified error examples from this exact year and mint have proven that even a late 20th century coin can become extraordinarily valuable. Today, rare error varieties of the 1998 P Roosevelt dime have reached values ranging from $50,650 to $128,780, placing them among the most surprising modern U.S. coin discoveries in 1998. The United States was experiencing economic stability and technological growth. Cash was still widely used, vending machines were everywhere, and the need for circulating coinage remained high. The Roosevelt dime played a critical role in daily commerce, which meant production numbers were massive. Millions of dimes were struck every month, with speed and efficiency being the primary goals of the minting process. When coins are produced on such a scale, even the most advanced quality controls cannot eliminate every mistake. The 1998 P Roosevelt dime was struck in Philadelphia by the United States Mint, identified by the P mint mark. These coins were not intended for collectors. They were meant to circulate immediately, moving quickly through banks, stores, and machines. Because of this, any genuine mint error that escaped into circulation became an unintended rarity, one that was never meant to survive. The design of the Roosevelt dime remained unchanged in 1998. The obverse features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, selected in 1946 to honor his leadership and his connection to the March of Dimes campaign against polio. The reverse displays a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. This familiar design made error detection difficult, especially when coins were handled quickly in everyday use. One of the most critical diagnostic tools for identifying valuable Roosevelt dime errors is the official weight. A standard Roosevelt dime must weigh exactly 2.268 grams. This number is essential in modern numismatics. Weight functions as an objective measurement that can immediately signal a problem. A dime that weighs less or more than the official standard may indicate a missing metal layer, an off-metal strike, or an incorrect planchet. Many high-value error dimes are first discovered not by sight, but by a digital scale. The minting process for dimes begins with large metal sheets composed of a pure copper core bonded between 2 layers of nickel. These sheets are punched into blank discs known as planchets. The planchets are cleaned, dried, and fed automatically into high-speed presses. Each planchet is struck with immense pressure, imprinting the design in a fraction of a second. When this process repeats millions of times, even a microscopic failure can result in a significant error point. One of the most valuable error types associated with the 1998 P Roosevelt dime is the missing clad layer error. In these cases, one of the outer nickel layers fails to bond properly to the copper core. The result is a dime that appears darker or more copper-colored than normal and weighs noticeably less than 2.268 grams. This type of error is extremely rare in modern coinage because bonding failures are usually detected before coins leave the mint. Another highly prized error is the off-metal strike. This occurs when a dime is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or, in rare cases, a foreign coin. These errors are immediately noticeable by weight, thickness, and sometimes diameter. Once confirmed through professional metal analysis, off-metal Roosevelt dimes become elite collector pieces due to their rarity and the severity of the minting failure. Some 1998 P Roosevelt dimes also exhibit double die errors. These occur during the creation of the coin die itself, when the design is misaligned during hubbing. The result is visible doubling in letters, numbers, or facial details. Unlike post-mint damage, double die errors are permanent features of the coin and are highly sought after when clearly visible and well preserved. Documented sales confirm the legitimacy of these high valuations. In 2021, a 1998 P Roosevelt dime with a missing clad layer, professionally certified and weighing significantly under the official standard, sold at a specialized auction for approximately $50,650. Collectors recognized the coin as a genuine modern error with excellent preservation and complete documentation. An even more remarkable example surfaced in 2024. This dime was struck on an incorrect planchet and also displayed subtle double die characteristics on the obverse. The coin had remained unnoticed in a private collection for years, assumed to be a normal modern dime. Once professionally evaluated, weighed, and authenticated, it was offered in a private sale where it realized a price of approximately $128,780. The price reflected its extreme rarity, clear error classification, and the absence of comparable examples in the marketplace. The value of these coins is not based on hype or speculation. It is the result of multiple factors working together. Incorrect weight is often the first indicator. Condition determines how much of the original design remains intact. Professional certification confirms authenticity and error type. Finally, documented realized sales establish true market value. When all of these align, a 10-cent coin can legitimately become a six-figure collectible point. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1998 P. Roosevelt dime is where these discoveries occur. They are rarely found in museum collections or high-end auctions at first. Many come from ordinary sources: coin jars, inherited change, old wallets, or mixed rolls purchased from banks. Because the coin is modern, many people assume it cannot be valuable, and that assumption allows rare errors to remain hidden. This dime proves that modern technology does not eliminate minting mistakes. Even with automation, scanners, and advanced metallurgy, the scale of production allows occasional errors to slip through. When they do, they create coins that capture a unique moment where human systems briefly failed. Examining a 1998 P. Roosevelt dime does not require advanced equipment. Check the date and mint mark. Look closely at the surface color and design details. Weigh the coin and compare it to the official 2.268 grams. Research verified sold prices rather than asking prices. If something seems unusual, professional evaluation can make the difference between an ordinary dime and a historic discovery. The 1998 P. Roosevelt dime era coin stands as powerful evidence that rarity is not always tied to age. Even modern coins can carry extraordinary stories and values. In these small metal discs are embedded technology, mass production, and human error. And in rare cases, all of that converges to transform 10 cents into a coin worth more than many homes. Sometimes, history is not hidden in the past, but quietly waiting in your pocket.